Morning, Yap.
Hi, Michelle Yap. Welcome to ToastTalk with the Yappies. Today we are back at this episode where we're going to discuss about the concerns of the tenant, and we are very happy that we have Stephen Wong, a partner from law firm Matthew Chiong Partnership, to share with us about those concerns.
Welcome back,
Welcome
Stephen.
back.
It's always nice to have you to share with our audience,
Sure,
okay, on topics that's really close to their heart, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so today we are touching on the tenant, concern. Because the last episode, I think the landlord's concern has touched quite a fair bit of it.
Yes.
Okay, so for us, right, the Yappies, we have actually assisted our tenants to rent homes from landlord as well. And well, they do come across some concerns during the tenancy period. For example, when we go and see a home, okay, and then you see all the appliances there are relatively new, and then when we take over the unit, the landlord actually changed the appliances to the older ones or pre-owned, you know. So with that, right, during the time when they take over the unit, there's supposed to be a 30 days so-called warranty
almost
period.
1 month warranty period.
So what's going to happen if the tenant moves in, okay, and the items are kaput after 1 month during the warranty period? What the tenant, is it going to be under the so-called minor repair clause? Is it supposed to kick in during that period after 1 month?
Okay, let's put it this way. When you are renting a house, a tenant is renting a house, I suppose prior to actually even signing the piece of paper, the tenant will have sight of the furnishings.
Yes.
So let's talk about, I suppose you're talking about a tenancy with full furnishings, right? And there's always an index, there's always an appendix, and that, I think this is where the agent will come into play, because naturally the accuracy of the index and the appendix can only be done by the agent. The thing about such tenancy is this: it is on the as-is basis, meaning you get what you see. So what you suggested just now was the landlord gazumping the tenant.
Yep.
Such a switch around is a very clear breach of contract. So I do believe that if there is such a switch around, the tenant can actually break contract with the landlord based on the TA, from what I remember for most TAs.
Right.
Having said that, if there is no switch arounds, right, the tenant takes it on an as-is basis. So this, what does that mean? This cuts both ways. So for example, I'm the tenant, I walk into a Sophia Road townhouse, right? It is beautifully decorated, they have all the best furnishings and whatnot. Even the kettle is also more expensive porcelain. Then suddenly you change it to a plastic. I can actually demand the landlord to change it back into the porcelain kettle, you see. But having said that, if you were to enter into similarly a Sophia Road townhouse, where the thing is a little bit iffy already, and you just took it for what it is, what happens is the tenant will just take the risk of the old and worn out items lah.
Right.
So basically, a landlord switching out or gazumping the tenant this way is very egregious. I think that can open the landlord to a pretty serious lawsuit, from what I understand.
Yeah, so as what you have shared, Stephen, is usually a as-is varies basis,
Yeah.
right? So meaning if the tenant actually rented this place, the landlord didn't switch the items, but they are pre-owned. So even after the 1 month warranty period, the minor repair clause will definitely kick in.
You definitely kick in.
Okay, so even if, let's say, for example, in the second month, the item spoil, then the tenant will still have to pay the minor repair,
Correct.
followed by whatever replacement cost by the landlord.
Correct.
Wow.
Wow, okay. Even for the white goods.
Even for the white goods, because you enter into the tenancy with your eyes wide open. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. If you were to take on a furnished property with worn out appliances, it will be cheaper. So that has factored. That is actually part of the factoring of the price.
Okay, that's the reason why this says, right, we will encourage the tenant, okay, to just get everything on their own. Okay, because things are relatively quite reasonable price.
Yeah.
Okay,
true.
and even if it's kaput, okay, still within their own costing, rather than the minor repair kits in.
Yeah, of
Because the
course.
moment you actually request from a landlord, right, all these starts to come in terms of the, they contest or they will not be happy and all this.
Yep. Agree.
So,
For example, if let's talk about the exit part.
Mm.
After the tenancy period is over, the tenant is supposed to return the unit in, I think, fair wear and tear,
Mm.
in rentable
Good
condition.
yes.
Vacant possession.
Yes, correct. So in such instance, right, the landlord is supposed to return the tenant the security deposit,
Yes.
usually within 14 days from the handover date.
Yes.
So in the event that the landlord actually delays in returning, despite constant reminder, so what sort of remedy does the tenant has?
Okay, the whole point of a security deposit is just to bring the place up to vacant possession, barring fair wear and tear, right? So basically you live in a place, you put it back to vacant possession, but of course fair wear and tear. So this is where the difficulty comes in, because what is considered to be fair wear and tear?
Yeah.
But let's assume everybody is fair, right? So after the landlord spends some money on vacant possession, outstanding monies is supposed to pay back to the tenant. Having said that, I think there are a lot of landlords who tend not to do such a thing. They will keep it inside their pocket. That is why the tenant will have to go to small claims to sue for the security deposit,
right.
saying that look, based on so and so and so, okay, vacant possession should only cost so much fair wear and tear. I already looked after everything already. Please give me my money back. So unfortunately, I think by and large lawyers are not able to help in this respect because we don't do small claims.
Okay. Okay. There's also another question that a lot of agents are a little bit, confused. For example, if this home you're representing a landlord, let's say there's a landlord agent, and happens that we are representing a tenant. Okay, and tenant rent this place. The whole place was whitewashed. After maybe a year or so, the whole place became moldy. Maybe the ceiling became moldy and the wall became moldy. For such instances, the responsibility, right, should fall under the landlord or the tenant.
That actually falls under fair wear and tear.
Okay.
Right. So unfortunately, I do believe that the landlord will have to absorb the losses for this instance.
But the landlord will probably say to our tenant, okay, look, because you never opened the window, so the ventilation was not, achieved, and then the moldiness sets in, and so how do we contest on that? Because it's like everybody's asking that question.
Normally, I myself, I'll be very, very sarcastic. I'll say, why don't you move to the Abu Dhabi where it's the desert and there's no water inside the air? But unfortunately, humidity cannot be avoided in Singapore.
Right.
And it also boils down to the type of paint that they use, whether it's moldy or anti-mold or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But mold by and large can be considered an act of God. So this will fall under fair wear and tear.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
Right.
Cool.
So now we know.
Yes.
Because we do have landlord that demands, full responsibility from a tenant, and the tenant is supposed to pay the full money on the rectification work.
Yes.
Okay, so that one, at least we know on
By
that.
and large, yeah.
Okay.
We would
By and
advise
large.
the tenant much better now.
Yes. So let's say for example, let's say any landlord that you have come across, that is really, I would say, a very nasty landlord that you need to deal with.
Oddly enough, I receive a lot of inquiries these days. I think something's happening, or at least I feel that something's, based on the nature of this inquiry, something's happening to our market. So what happens is a lot of landlords, they enter into a contract, fixed contract for 3 years or whatever, and after a while, they feel that they are shortchanged. So what they would do is, they would demand that we evict the client, the tenant, for late payment. But the thing is, even if they're late paying the rent, upon paying the rent, their so-called their wrongdoing has been extinguished.
Okay.
So what happens is, I got a few inquiries. 2 years ago, the client missed out 4 payments. They were late by 3 days each time, trying to sell their property. They probably just feel shortchanged or whatever. So I think this is a very common inquiry I'm getting nowadays.
Okay, and then of course, as usual, we would like to know is there any difference between residential tenant and also a commercial tenant? Let's say they rent a place. Okay, for all this that we talk about, they are not able to fulfill the tenancy agreement, even for commercial. Is there any difference on the claims?
No difference. I think the tenant is still expected to pay up until the end of the tenancy period,
Right.
Barring landlord's duty to mitigate.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, but then ultimately it all boils down to how big of a tenant is. Like if yours is just small fly-by-night business, then naturally you can just wind up your business and just don't pay, which happens quite often. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, I remember many years ago when I was renting one commercial unit from a big company, and I somehow couldn't fulfill it. So I was made to pay throughout the whole
Duration.
duration, even when I vacate the office. So I think this is part and parcel of a tenancy agreement.
Yes.
We're supposed to honor it, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Barring duty to mitigate. So the big company can't just sit around and say that, hey, look, man, I'm not gonna tenant this out. I want you to pay the whole thing.
Yes.
They themselves are supposed to look for
Right.
tenants as well. But
True.
of course, when it comes to commercial property, right, the market is not as hot as what do you call that, residents.
Yes.
So what happens is, in reality, the tenant will actually have to absorb the entire year.
Yes, understand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Once again, Stephen, thanks for sharing. I think there's so many questions that maybe the audiences would like to find out more as well. So if you do have, okay, you can always contact Jamie, okay, who's the business development manager of Matthew Chiong Partnership.
Yes.
And once again, I'm Ning Yap.
I'm Michelle Yap, and do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more chats like this, and we'll see you soon in our next Toast Talk with the Yappies.